up, YouTube? I'm back. So I wasn't there for last week's episode because I had some things to do, but it was a great episode. It was really fast paced because there was a lot of things happening, but it was still great. We saw Itadori, Fushiguro, and Kugisaki getting beat up pretty easily. It was kind of impressive how weak they were compared to the curses that were there, but it was great to see because it showed us that they're not so strong that they cannot be beat. So that's one of the things that I really liked about last week's episode. But anyway, man, in this week's episode we saw that Itadori, aka Sukuna, fought Fushiguro for a little bit. It was pretty cool. The animation, as always, was amazing. Studio Mappa are doing a great job of animating this anime, but we got to see Sukuna take over Itadori's body and fight Fushiguro. Obviously, Sukuna is a special grade curse, so he's one of the strongest curse that there is, and he did something pretty interesting, because he doesn't want that Itadori to switch back. He actually took his heart out of his body so that if Itadori actually switch out with him, he would die. So that was kind of interesting and smart on the part of Sukuna to do. But yeah, I really like how the fight went, because it wouldn't make sense that a first year would be able to beat a special grade curse like Sukuna. So obviously we saw Sukuna beat Fushiguro pretty easily. He was just punching him really, really hard, man. It was on some Dragon Ball Z shit. It was crazy how they weren't just fighting in one place, they were fighting over a city. It was pretty big, a big fight for the fourth episode of this series. But yeah, it was great. But something that I wanted to talk about is something about Fushiguro because we kind of saw something that it seems is pretty important to him. It was a girl, it seemed, and we saw her in the opening. Actually, I think in the opening it seems like she was pretty important. So I'm glad that we got to see a little bit of who she is in this week's episode. I'm wondering if we'll actually get to see her in this season, because it seems like she's out of commission for now because we learned that her name is Tsumiki. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Tsumiki? Yeah, I think so. But Fushiguro said that she was still cursed, so it seems like maybe she's in a coma because she was cursed by a curse or by somebody. I'm not really sure because it seems like we saw Fushiguro visiting her in her hospital bed, so it seems like she's cursed and in a coma because of it. So that's pretty interesting, and I really want to know more about that because we don't really know a lot about Fushiguro, but that's one of the first things that we really got to know about him. So I can't wait to know more and to learn more about this situation. Anyway, at the end of the fight, it seems like Fushiguro was gonna use his life force to combat and to fight Sukuna, and that was pretty interesting. I really like how they do the energy around them, the cursed energy black black. I think when they do that, it's really well done. I really like the art of the energy that they use, but it seems like he was gonna use his life force or something like that to fight Sukuna because Sukuna was pretty excited to see that. His attack was called Sacred Treasure Swing and Ring 8 Grip, and that was pretty interesting, but we didn't get to see what attack it was because instead of fighting Sukuna, he actually talked to Itadori in a way. He said that he was happy that he saved him. He didn't regret it. So that was pretty cool, and because of that, Itadori was able to take back control of his body, even though because of that he was gonna die. Hitadori was actually ready to die, for his friend, basically. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was basically a talk no jutsu from Naruto, but I thought that was a pretty cool moment in the episode. Now let's talk about these guys right there because we got to see some new curses that were pretty intelligent. Some of them could talk and they were talking to a human, so all of that was pretty interesting because it seems like they were the one that gave the Sukuna finger to that special kind of curse that we saw in last week's episode, and that's why it was that strong. And it seems like they were the one that gave him the finger, and they have a boss. And from what I'm understanding, they were trying to see how strong Sukuna was. They were testing him, so all of that was to attract Sukuna and see how strong he is right now. So I'm really wondering who their boss is and how strong he is because he's trying to test Sukuna like he's below him in a way, So I really can't wait to know more about what's going on with this human and these curses work kind of working together. We also got to know what are the intentions of these curses, because it seems like they want to reverse what's happening to them, to the humans, because right now the curses are being destroyed by the humans, but they want to destroy the human. And the reason why is because they said that humans lie a lot, they don't devolve their true intention every time, but when they do, the hatred and everything like that, it shows what their true meaning, their true intentions are. That's what humans do. When you're angry, there's a lot of things that come out that are true. So, and that actually creates the curses. So, in their head, the curses, they're pure, they're the truth. They don't lie. They're, like I said, they're pure, so they think that they're the best, so that's why they want to reverse that and take over, I'm guessing. So yeah, I'm guessing that we'll get to know more about the curses plan, because I'm guessing the guys that we saw in this week's episode was the subordinates, so we'll get to know more when we get to see who the real boss is. Anyway, we got to see Gojo Sensei in this week's episode, and he was pretty mad, because of Itadori dying. And one of the reasons why he was mad is because the reason why they died is because they were sent to defeat a special great curse when they're only first years, and the ones that sent them was the higher ups, and the reason why they did that is because they were against having Itadori staying alive with Sukuna in him, and the reason why Gojo Sensei wasn't there is because the higher ups sent him away on a mission, I'm guessing, so that they could do anything they wanted to basically kill Itadori, and the way that they did that is by sending the first years to that special great curse, So all of that was pretty maddening, especially for Gojo Sensei. But yeah, man, it was pretty interesting that the higher ups would go to that extent to actually kill Itadori. We also got introduced to a new character. My bad, I don't actually remember her name, but it seems like she's the one that does the autopsy, and she's going to do the same thing on Itadori. So all of that is pretty interesting. I like her design, it seems like she's pretty serious and she takes her job pretty serious. So I like her. We'll get to know more about her later in the series. I hope so. But yeah, it was a new character that we got introduced to. And one last thing before we get to the next thing is that we got to know who was actually dying in this mini arc. It was Itadori. Obviously, um, 2 episodes ago, at the end of the episode, they told us that three first years went to a mission and one of them died, and at first I said that Itadori would probably die and get resurrected because of Sukuna inside of him. So I'm still thinking that's gonna happen. So that was pretty cool. We also got introduced to new characters that actually go to the same school as Fushiguro and Kugisaki. They're the first second year that we've been introduced to so far. One of them is named Zenin Senpai, That's her right there. I really like her design. It seems like she's a special her specialty is cursed object, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, I like her design, I like her personality so far. Then the other second year that we were introduced to is this dude right there. His name is Inubaki Senpai. That's the curse speech user, so he only can use some a food word or something like that. I don't really know why, but I can't wait to know more about him. But Inubaki, he's a pretty interesting character. I think we saw him in the opening also. And then there was the panda, which is interesting. They didn't tell anything about him. They just said that his name is Panda and he's also a second year. So that's pretty weird. Hopefully, we'll know more about him. Maybe it's just a costume, or maybe it's a real panda. I don't know, but that's pretty interesting. But yeah, man, they were talking to the first years, and when I'm saying the first year, it's Fushigo and Kugisaki. But they were basically saying that there's gonna be a tournament arc, that is held by their director and the director of another school. So basically, the two directors propose a form of competition to be held for an entire day over the course of 2 days, and oftentimes it's one-on-one combat the first day and then team fight the other day. So that's gonna be quite interesting. It's basically a tournament arc. That is held for 2 days basically, so that's gonna be great, and I can't wait, man. We're gonna get to see more fights, we're gonna get to see more curse powers, and I can't wait. Also, we got to see the cursed with that one human one more time at the end of the episode, and the human basically said that Gojo Sensei is the strongest Jujutsu user in the world, which I'm not surprised, but at first I thought that it wasn't really true that he was the strongest because even Gojo Sensei said that he would beat Sukuna, but now I believe him because it said that he's the strongest in the world, so that's pretty interesting. He's basically Kakashi Sensei but on steroids, so that's pretty cool. And then the human actually said that Itadori wasn't dead just yet, basically, so that was also pretty cool. So I'm wondering how this dude knows all of that, so I'm guessing that we'll learn more about him as the series goes on. But yeah, it seems like next week's episode is gonna be about Itadori coming back to life because at the end of the episode we saw Sukuna basically say to Itadori to not come in without asking or something like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna do that in next week's episode. I'm pretty interested, but it was a great episode, man. I really liked it. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is gonna happen next. It was a great episode, and it's been a great series so far. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot, and follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram. I do Jujutsu Kaisen reviews every Friday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like One Piece reviews on Saturdays usually, and Boruto Naruto Next Generation reviews on Sundays. So stay tuned for that. There's also Promised Neverland and Doctor Stone coming back in January, and then there's Attack on Titan coming back on December. So stay tuned for all of that, man. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.